Yeah, first and for all praises for the honest to Yahweh Shai Bashim Kapabash. Devon says, Apostle Teacher, great Milson, if I learn this truth, and say Shalom to the whole collective Israel. And this might not be too long a video, but just as you can see, just asking AI a few questions. I was really going to this whole what its opinion is on this whole thing with that Israeli billionaire mentioning how the U.S. government should tighten down and more closely regulate social media. You know, introducing that China social credit score system. Essentially, is what they're doing. You know, but also asked, as you can see here, during past empires has tightening its grip, because that's what's going on in America. You know, that's what that thing is. Because that's what they want to do. They want to get a tighter grip on the people, and that's what the mark of the beast is. You know, it's having more control over the people. Their past empires is tightening its grip on the people, but the common occurrence in its downfall. And this came up a lot, but I'm just gonna skim through. This is a complex historical dynamic, but the short answer is yes. And you know, we already know this. I was just wondering what the conclusion that AI was going to come to. It's a very common pattern for empires to dramatically tighten their grip, increasing authoritarianism, surveillance, centralization as they enter their decline, which is everything that you see going on here in America. Literally, you know. It says further proof that AI itself will tell you that America's on the fucking fall, and this is proof of that. Historians also often refer to this as a survival reflex. As the state becomes weaker, faces crises, economic stagnation, external threats, or internal unrest, the leadership reacts by trying to force stability through coercion. It says the survival reflex. Empire enters a crisis. Leaders often feel legitimacy slipping away to compensate for the loss of soft power. Cultural influence, economic prosperity, voluntary loyalty is switched to hard power. Police states, purges, strict bureaucracy. Resource extraction. The economy creates less wealth. The state needs to squeeze harder to get tax revenue to pay the army. Then you got paranoia, sexualization, distrusting local governors. The central authority tries to micromanage everything, which creates bottlenecks and inefficiency. Historical examples of tightening control. The first up is Rome, because like everybody knows that America is Rome 2.0, in its final century, Rome transformed from the principate, where the emperor pretended to be first citizen among equals, to dominant, from dominus meaning master or lord. The grip Diocletian, late 3rd century, Emperor Diocletian saved the empire from immediate collapse by turning into a rigid bureaucratic police state. He froze prices, locked people into their hereditary professions. If your father was a baker, you had to be a baker. Vastly expanded the army of bureaucracy. The result, it worked temporarily to stabilize the state. And I said in scripture, Jeremiah 51:9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. And none of these, and we say this all the time, how none of these heathen nations are immortal. America isn't immortal just because it's it's an extremely powerful country. You got all these different moving parts that have been eroding over time. And once again, when something rusts, you have to get rid of it because it's going to fall apart, like you see with America, And like Scripture said, they're trying to put balm. They're trying to do these different things. It's going to heal America, but it's not going to fucking work. Just like with all these heathen nations, they may have done things, it may have worked for a period of time, but eventually it all came crashing down all the same. Temporarily still out the state, but hollowed out the empire. Citizens lost their patriotism and willingness to defend the state because they felt like serfs. The final invasions came, many ordinary Romans were indifferent to the fall of their oppressive government. You go to a few other different empires. Summary. Tighter grip is the most common symptom of a dying empire. It creates a vicious cycle. The empire weakens. Leaders panic, increase repression to maintain control. Repression stifles innovation. Loyalty need to fix the problems. The empire becomes brittle, strong on the outside, hollow on the inside, and shatters at the next major shock. Well, that was just interesting. Now I wonder how long it's gonna be before they start to fucking optimize and edit fucking these chatbot models answers. Because that guy mentioned how we need to hurry up and save the internet before it's too late and regulate everybody before there's irreparable damage that's done. But he mentioned culture, he mentioned politics, damage to culture and politics. But the funny thing about that is that all of the damage has already been done. No, so I'm not sure what type of extra damage this nigga is talking about, but the damage has been done. The culture, the social structure is completely fucked. Everybody hates you. Everybody hates you fucking each other. All the damage has been fucking done. And I asked if that was a Trojan horse to be used, and ChatGPT said it probably is. And it laid out a few different ways of how that whole let's save the internet and save the people could be a Trojan horse for leading in something else. But the main point I want to get is how everybody knows that America's dying, and that whole cracking down on everybody when it comes to the social media, because everybody's saying pretty much what the fuck they want on social media. But when he implements the MOTB to bite down, to bite down harder on the people in an attempt to get control, that's proof that America is fucking dying. It's not just because ChatGPT said it. All ChatGPT is, for now at least, is just an information gathering, or these different language models. They're information gathering devices. For now, because eventually I'd imagine Esau is gonna fucking get rid of any. He's gonna reprogram it for Edomite supremacy and shit. But it's information gathering models, right? And we've seen this by studying history ourselves. But the mere fact that this nigga's doing this proves that America's fucking finished. All you dumbasses who want to say that America isn't, that's you gotta read history. History is it's an interesting thing. You see patterns that have been repeated over and over again. For some crazy ass reason, y'all don't think that same pattern is going to be repeated now, even though it is. Revelation 12:12. You know what? The more Esau sees his power slipping, the harder he's going to bite down on the people. And Esau, being the crazy piece of shit that he is, he's going to engage in drastic measures to do so by any means necessary. Censoring people, giving people that social credit score. And when you go into China, I think it's Japan. Well, I know China has it too, but I think I was reading some shit. No, it was Japan. I think it was Japan. I was reading going a couple of shorts about how their people are there. Shit, it could have been China, but one of those niggas, you have homeless people there that are homeless because they've been blacklisted due to their social credit score. And I just and that's the type of system that so-called white man wants to push out. Once again, coming down on the people hard as hell. Because they can, once again, all this censorship and all this shit, they can literally implement these systems. They'll be able to do that. And you have Elon Musk that's talking about how in 2026 they're going to be increasing their Neuralink chip testing by a lot. This is the year that shit is likely going to be implemented. Or from what it seems, it's still yet to be seen, right? But from that article, that's what it seems. And it's Revelation 12:12. And once again, the harder Esau bites down, the more and more his power slips from him. He will have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, This is why we say to trust, Yahweh Shema Shai, seek him while he may be found. Seek him now. Because this nigga, once again, he'll go, he has no problem going to drastic measures to secure his power. And that's really with any rulership. If you want to get technical, nobody in a position of power wants to lose their power. So they'll be willing to do things to keep and secure their position. And hell, you have that example with Yahweh Shai, the wicked Pharisees that knew who he was, but went as far as to get him murdered because they didn't want to lose their position. They went as far as to kill the Messiah, and they knew who he was. And they didn't really have all that big a position anyway. They weren't really. They were the richest poor niggas. They had money. They were balling, but they were still rich poor niggas. They still had to pay taxes, and they were willing to do that to keep that little position. How much more the so-called white man who has control over the world, who's had access, and who's had all this experience to all these different things that the average nigga will never get to experience. He's going to lose his goddamn mind, because once again, that's a one thinking about it from a mental type of standpoint. That's a torturous thing. To know that you're ruling, you have all these amenities, and that you're going to lose it. That's fucking torture. That will keep you up at night. Case in point with poor niggas, right? Your job, you got a little bit of money. You're going to continue to bust your ass. Why? Because that fear of you losing everything, the fear of you ending up like that nigga begging for money on the street that you drive past when you finish leaving the store. That's that fear when something go wrong in your business, and that's the only way for you to make money. That's going to keep you fucking up at night. Same thing to the so-called white man. Something's going wrong in this kingdom, and he says, you know what? Just clamp the fuck down. All this other shit didn't work. The whole lulling everybody to sleep, it's not fucking working. People are waking up. No other choice but to clamp the fuck down, and that's it. And either dwell in them, or to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devils come down unto you having great wrath, because he know that he has but a short time. And there you go. That was pretty much it. I was just chatting with one of these chat models, and that was interesting. Thought I made a video on it, but hope it made sense. Hope it's edifying. So y'all praise this glory and honor to Yahweh Shema Shai, Hashem God Dash, the one says, Apostle and teacher, great medicine, for truth. Shalom to hope like Israel, instruction bound great America.